Question for you. Do you like female bodybuilders? Probably not.
What's the hardest part about female bodybuilding?
The fact that not a lot of people like female having muscles.
Now it comes to a surprise of no one that there are many issues to female bodybuilding and women taking steroids in general. Now, to be honest, I do hear a lot of people talk about this stuff, but I don't think people really understand that bodybuilding and taking steroids can be a lot more harsh for women than it is for men. And of course, I'm talking mainly about the side effects. Because of course, if you're a man and you take male hormones, which is basically what steroids are, then you're just going to become more masculine. You'll become more muscular. Your voice might become deeper. Of course, there'll be DHT conversion and you'll lose hair. But at the end of the day, you might become hairier. Things like that, right? You know, there's going to be drawbacks that your natural testosterone production is going to go low. Your balls are going to shrink and all these things like that. But at the end of the day, you will just eventually just become more masculine in its literal sense. And of course, when you come off or do a PCT or something like that, or cruising cycles, then of course these are going to be drawn back. You're going to lose muscle mass and whatnot, right? But for women, there are a lot more drawbacks, consequences, side effects, whatever you want to say, however you want to put it, package it, whatever, that women seriously need to think about, because when they take this stuff, it's not reversible. And just like men, they become more masculine. This, of course, means they become more muscular, and to a lot of men, they become a lot more unattractive. Let's just take it from this perspective. A lot of women see bodybuilding physiques on a guy as unattractive. And like I said, they are deemed more masculine because they have much more of a strong, muscular physique, right? But women don't like that. It's too much. So let's look at it from the other perspective. What if you have a man who's looking for a woman who's supposed to be maybe curvy, more soft looking? I'm not going to describe that stuff, all right? You get my point. And then you see a woman who's like friggin' bodybuilder, like crazy, like something like this.
Would you mind sharing what your best squat and bench press is?
185.
Okay. 185 pounds. kg. What? Oh, 185 kg. So that's like 400 pounds. Oh my God. And then how about for the squat? 200. 200. This is kg. 285 kg.
I think most men are going to be like, what the hell? What the hell? You get my point. But of course, it's not just the neck down that changes in regards to their muscles. There are other things that change on the neck down, and I will get onto that. But their face changes a lot also. They develop more masculine features. You'll see female bodybuilders having a great cheekbone as well as jawline, so they have more of a structured face as a man would. They're basically looks maxing. If you ever follow the looks maxers on TikTok, the black pillars, if you will, yeah, they're basically looks maxing, and they're becoming, moggers, to be honest. But jokes aside, like I said, these things are irreversible. If they come off the gear, or if they do a PCT or something like that, their facial structure will stay the same. But also they do have the hair loss and hair growth as well, in regard to their body becoming more hairy and their head becoming less hairy. This, of course, can be weird and again draws back from their attractiveness, but listen to this.
I don't want to be like everybody else.
We do this for ourselves.
It's what I want. I don't care what the rest of the world thinks.
Now, we've all heard it before. The females only wear makeup because we're doing it for ourselves and all these things. Really? Now, that's a completely different topic, and I wouldn't really want to go into that in this video, but to be honest, I agree with the female bodybuilders, because most of them probably aren't going into bodybuilding to become an IFBB pro, to get all these sponsorships and whatnot because they want to be more attractive. They're definitely doing it for more of a career path and also goals as well, because loads of these female bodybuilders talk about it as like this is their life goal to achieve this. This is their drive. It's not the money. It's bodybuilding. And to be fair, all power to them if they want to do that and they have considered the health risks and drawbacks that can come from that. Now, when I talk about taking the health implications very seriously, you should do, because this video has actually gone very viral recently of a female bodybuilder talking about the side effects that she had to put up with and the fact that she kind of regrets some of it now, to be honest.
a coach had approached me and ended up, I told him what I wanted. I told him I wanted to be as muscular as I could. I told him that I, was willing to do whatever it took, which was probably not the best words that I could have chosen. But also I didn't really know the extent of what could be done with enhancements and things like that. Was completely new. And I was 22 when I first officially got into bodybuilding, when I got my first coach. And he immediately put me on so much gear, so much gear. I've experienced the voice, enlargement of certain things. I've lost my period on several occasions. One time for almost 3 years. I have experienced hair loss, skin issues.
And she kind of touched on there what I was alluding to earlier, which is there's going to be reproductive issues as well. Growth of certain areas, missing periods, becoming infertile. And actually, a woman becomes infertile if she's a natural bodybuilder also within certain circumstances. For instance, if you go to a too low a body fat percentage, then you start missing your period. And of course, that renders you infertile for the time being because you can't reproduce. And of course, has escalated even more if you're enhanced. Now, of course, I've sort of rambled over quite a few side effects there, and there's also other side effects that I haven't mentioned. But I wanted to just sort of raise awareness for that because I know that a lot of people have talked about it, but it seems that potentially not enough. I see a lot of female bodybuilders actually talking about the health risk, consequences, and side effects that they've actually experienced, like the video that I just showed you before, as well as other videos also.
And do you think you look better then, or
I
you
look
think
better now? Oh my gosh! Like I said, 8 weeks of taking Enova or whatever you want, it won't change your body. It literally will change the way you feel about things. When you come off, you will be destroyed. If you want to do it, remember, it's for life. It's a dark side for a reason. You will be stuck in that hole.
But it's almost not talked about enough. Kenny KO, who I'm sure you all aware of by now, has gone around talking about Natty or Not. Some of his most famous clips are him talking to female bodybuilders who, bro, they're clearly taking something. However, they'll lie about it or outright just not say that they're taking something, if that makes sense, sort of dodging the question, which in my opinion just doesn't make any sense. And I've talked about that in other videos before. Like, why? If a female just starts talking about how she's taking something, if she's a bodybuilder also, imagine if there's a bodybuilder, like woman, IFBB pro. Bro, you're going to be taking something, bro. We know. Not to say that there aren't natural IFBB pros, but mate, when you look at some of these women, it's crazy. And so this whole thing of like fake naturals in the male realm of things in fitness, which of course gives people the wrong viewpoint on steroids that end up going to take it anyway. It's the same for women because loads of women are actually taking steroids as well.
Side effect from steroids that bothers me the most is the voice. My voice dropped fast. Also have stress urinary incontinence.
What's that?
When I lift heavy, I pee involuntarily. Yes, it's a real thing.
It's fine.
But I want to throw a curveball in here for a moment because basically for most of this video, I'm talking about how the appearance of women changes and how most men probably wouldn't find this attractive. But you want to know something that kind of baffles me? Many of these female bodybuilders have OF. Now, I'll be honest, I'm very much against OF. I actually really don't like it at all, and I can go into that if anyone wants to in a later date. But it's kind of crazy because these women are like extremely muscular, and of course they're building a successful career and, income for themselves through this medium. And if you ever look at the comment section of these women's videos or Instagram posts or whatever, a lot of these guys are actually complimenting them, saying, oh yeah, you look amazing, you look beautiful. Kind of similar to most women's comment section anyway. But of course, it's a bit different because these women are like freaking IFBB pros. At the end of the day though, female bodybuilding's quite niche, and it's also in its own realm of fitness, if that makes sense. Male bodybuilding, of course, is a lot more popular, and female bodybuilding's in its own space. It was actually discontinued for a while at the Mr. Olympia, and then they brought it back. But again, It's not very popular. I've actually gone to the Mr. Olympia and also the Arnold Classic, and it's quite sad to see, but whenever the females come on stage, most people kind of just walk out. Or, because they put a lot of the female bodybuilding at the beginning of the show and they sort of save the male bodybuilding to later, most people just turn up a bit later so they can go and watch the classic or the men's physique or, the open. Does that make sense? It is what it is. At the end of the day, though, I don't think female bodybuilding's wrong in any way. If they want to do it, it's their choice. As they said in this video, they do it for themselves. So, of course, they can do it. I'm not blocking anyone from doing anything. But I think the way we talk about it should be more in line with male bodybuilding, which is, look, there are many drawbacks to this. We shouldn't just be like, yeah, do we want to? Be like, look, do it if you like, but there are these consequences if you choose to do so, and you can't go back.